Welcome to the EXP Group, one of the leading providers of business training solutions. Please enjoy this presentation and visit us on the web at www.theexpgroup.com for more information.
Hello and welcome to today's ACCA Paper P3 Business Analysis video course with the EXP Group. So we're still in Chapter 6 at the moment and we're on page 34 of our Express Notes. Today we're going to be having a look at something called Business Process Redesign. Business Process Redesign. Now, just to run through a couple of the high level pictures and then we'll look at the model in the notes. Business Process Redesign, so BPR, aims at improving both the efficiency and effectiveness of business processes. Now, just want to break away a bit. What do we mean by business processes? This often confuses students, and it sounds quite complex, but in effect, business processes are things that a business does. Keep it as simple as that. It's the processes, the activities it undertakes. So, business process redesign is redesigning the way an organization undertakes business. The model we're going to have a look at here is by Harmon, and it's a process strategy matrix. Now, this matrix is based on two main areas. We've got the actual importance and the complexity. So the importance and the complexity. So for example, at the bottom we've got the strategic importance of the process. So how important is the thing that we are talking about? Is it high importance or low importance? And then we have the type of process ranging from simple to complex. So it's a nice 2x2 matrix. Okay, let's look at some of these categories then. So the first one, how important is the process? How important is the thing that we're talking about within the business? Let's say it's a low importance. Okay. And then how complex is it? Let's say it's relatively simple. So we've got a simple process with a low value. What should we do? We should automate or outsource. So in other words, we don't want to get too involved in that. It's relatively simple. We can automate it as much as possible. We don't want to spend a lot of time on this process. So that kind of makes sense. It's not very important and it's not complex, it's simple, so let's automate it or outsource. Okay, what happens if we're still in this column? The strategic importance is low, but it's complex. So what happens here is complex, but it's low. So we have complex processes that are not part of the core competencies. So they're complex, but they're not key, fundamental to the business. Okay, an example of this I'll just put here, for example, payroll. Let's say you've got an international organization with payrolls covering various different tax regimes. That's complex because there's different tax rules you need to have. How important is it? And what is, in particular, what is the strategic importance? Well, it is important. We want to make sure we pay the right amount of taxes and that people get their salaries, but it is not strategically important. So what do? It's not overly important, but it's complex. The answer, we want to outsource. We outsource that to the experts that know what to do. Okay, the next example to have a look at. Let's say something is of strategic importance. So it's high strategic importance, but it's a relatively simple process. So putting it into slightly different words, it is important from a strategic point of view, but it's an easy process. Now, an example of something within this would be one of the big internet companies such as Amazon, for example. A high strategic importance is making sure they can process all the credit card payments and what have you. Processing credit card payments is a relatively simple operation. So what's the outcome of this? Automate for efficiency. So we don't have to spend a lot of time on this because it's a simple process. It is very important, so we want to make sure that we actually get it right. So automate for efficiency. Final one to have a look at then is we've got an area that is of high strategic importance, and it's a complex area. So we've got complex processes of high strategic values. Here what we have to do is focus on people-based process improvements. So what that is saying, according to Harman's matrix, this is really where we have to spend a lot of time. We shouldn't outsource that, we should focus on that and get people-based process improvements. So that's a key area within Harman's matrix. Now, just to finish off this chapter, we've got a quick paragraph here, business process outsourcing. Okay, so we've mentioned in Harman's matrix about outsourcing, but what do we exactly mean by outsourcing? This is business process outsourcing, BPO. Now, as the notes say, this is a form of outsourcing that involves contracting third parties to undertake specific functions. So we are outsourcing, we're giving to a third party the requirement that they process our business processes. Now, typically what we have here, various back office functions, accounting activities, etc. Now, you can probably guess this. There are certain benefits of this, so positive points and negatives. A positive could be cost saving, for example. It could be cheaper to outsource. Another positive could be that you're giving it to experts that understand the field. A negative, it could be loss of internal skills. So, for example, if you're outsourcing things, you maybe no longer need the skills inside, so you could lose those skills. Other potential negative areas include possible loss of confidentiality and issues like that. Okay, that was business process redesign. So thank you very much for listening, and please come back again tomorrow for another video. Thank you.